Well, thank you very much. My name is Johann Völkers. When myTaxi was founded 2.5 years ago, I was lucky to provide the seed investment for this project. That gave me the great chance to be there for, at the very start of this company, but also to be involved on an operational level. myTaxi is an innovative and first mover who's currently changing the old structures of the taxi industry while improving the situation for both, for the client as well as for the taxi driver. But before giving you more insight of myTaxi, please let me tell you how I got here from the city to the airport of Barcelona, because it was a real mess, to be honest. I clearly identified a big need while I was trying to flag down a taxi. After many failed attempts, I decided to use another option, perhaps calling a taxi. Have you ever tried to read the street names of a city where you don't know the language? Well, it can be very hard. I didn't know where I was, and I didn't know where to call, as there's no common taxi number for whole Europe. There are all these small numbers in the individual cities. So it took a while. I gathered all the information, and I actually talked to an operator, but it was very difficult to understand them because, as well, I didn't speak the language so well. After a while, a taxi came, though, but it was a very old taxi with a very unfriendly taxi driver. However, finally, I arrived at the airport, and I saw this. Can you imagine this huge oversupplies you find here at the airport and this huge undersupply you find in the city where I needed the taxi? These hundreds of taxis are just standing there at the airport and waiting for one trip to the city, which is about 20 euros. So when I saw this, I could clearly say, okay, this industry needs a big innovation. It is screaming for innovation. Let me present our innovation, our solution, the myTaxi revolution. The simplest way to explain the service is basically that we create the one-on-one connection between the client and the driver. Therefore, we're using two applications, one for each side. The client uses this totally for free, and the taxi driver has to pay a small commission fee of less than €1 to our company for every successful trip we generate. The tool is just a simple app. Let me give you a little product demonstration how myTaxi works. So you're somewhere in the city where you don't know where you are. You open your application, and the application or the GPS finds your exact position. You press on continue, and you have several options to put in. You can say, how many passengers are you? Do you want to pay by credit card maybe? Also, there's another option, the 5-star taxi, for someone who requires a little bit better service. This is sponsored by our close partner and investor, T-Venture. So if you want to have a better service, you can choose the 5-star taxi, and only the 5-star taxis will come to pick you up. So you click to continue. The application sends out a signal to the taxi drivers around you. Now I quickly jump to the driver's side, as we have two applications. One driver receives the trip, that there's a request. He presses accept. And then on the other side again, the client, so you on your telephone, you see all the necessary information. You see a photo of the taxi driver, you see a slogan of him, you see his rating, you see how far he is away, and exactly the time when he's arriving. And even on your map, you can see in a very interactive way, you see it right now, how the taxi comes closer to your actual position until he's there. After the trip, you can rate the taxi driver. This is a very important tool as well because it improves the whole industry. It brings much more quality in the whole industry. And it makes every taxi driver his own entrepreneur. If he's really good, if he offers really good service, you give him more stars and he receives more trips. After explaining you the simplicity of myTaxi, the easy way how it works, let me put it in a little bit more complex structure. The actual product is not only an application. The actual product is a market space, an online cloud, which is a multi-sided platform where on the one side the client sends out an order that he needs a taxi, and on the other side the driver receives that, can accept that order that he transports the person. Therefore, to make this platform accessible to everybody, we are using two simple apps. These apps are programmed on the latest technology, of course, on iPhone, on Android, on BlackBerry, on iPads, and also on the browser version. So you can access this as well through your web browser, which is important for the corporate clients. I want to distinguish a little bit between simple one-way solution app which you download once and you use it once and you delete it again. We're talking about the taxi industry. So this industry existed since always, and it will exist always in the future. And we, from myTaxi, we have the strong belief and the strong vision that, since the invention of the smartphone, this is the way how people will call a taxi from now on and in the future. I'm sure you want to know if this really works. Well, based on these numbers and figures, I can tell you that it does. We are online since 2010. We have since then acquired around 5,000 taxis in Germany. This makes 10% of the whole market of Germany, so it has worked really well. We have around 500,000 downloads. I couldn't update that number as fast as it's growing. Just last week we had a very exciting newspaper article in the biggest German newspaper. After that we had within, I think, 48 hours around 40,000 downloads, and our app was positioned in the German App Store on number 5, and overall and in terms of productivity on number 1. So we had a great success there. And then we have a total coverage in Germany right now. We have been first to all the big cities, and now we have a total coverage of Germany. We opened the market. And to give you a little idea of the numbers, so it's a pretty big market. Germany only has 400 million taxi trips every year, so you can imagine what huge potential there is. After that great success in Germany, we are now planning our internationalization. We already successfully launched in Vienna in Austria. We also launched in much further away in Australia, in Sydney. And we have offices in Switzerland, in Barcelona, and much more cities and countries are coming soon, as well as London also in the future. Making money with mobile apps, our today's topic. That are our key factors. We have been the innovator and the first mover in the taxi mobile app industry. We identified a clear problem and a clear need. There's no one taxi number for whole Europe, so there's no solution. Now with myTaxi, you can use one app in the future in the whole Europe. You have to have the right timing. Maybe someone before had a similar idea of doing an invention in the taxi industry, but the technology was just not there. So there was no iPhones, there was nothing how they could do it. So we really had the right timing, and therefore it worked really well. You have to have a fair pricing model as well. We researched the industry very, very well of the taxi industry, and we offer much more competitive prices to the taxi drivers than the old dispatch services do. That's why the taxi drivers use us. And yeah, you have to make it fast, easy, and very accessible to the people, so have a very user-friendly application, which we also believe to have. Well, myTaxi operated since 2.5 years. We had great success. We proved that this is a working business model, that it's working really well, that taxi drivers pay for the service. It was a huge milestone. We also have many active clients. However, now, after that success in Germany, we are planning to do the internationalization. And of course, we are facing new challenges there, but we are very confident to use the market knowledge and expand to the other markets and have the same success there based on that market knowledge and the learnings we have done in our home market in Germany. Thank you very much.